Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see. Hit like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And if you are a returning stitching friend, as always, thank you so much for just being a part of my stitching journey and sharing my stitching with me. I really do appreciate it. It is Friday morning, as it usually is. I'm a little bit later getting started today, so that's all right. just a little bit of a late start. I just had a lot of prepping to do. I have so much stuff right here on the table in front of me that I'm just hoping I don't knock it all on the floor. Yeah, we have a scrapbook page, we have a trading card, we have projects and then some finishing things that I'm in the middle of, and even a couple of previous little tiny finishes that I wanted to show you. So lots and lots. Thank you so much for all of the birthday wishes. I really appreciated it. I'm still working on all of the comments, working my way through, and thank you so much for the beading advice as well. I got some great advice. I didn't realize what was out there, so right now I'm stitching, and I'm just going to concentrate on the stitched part. But I wrote down notes of what I need to look for smaller beads, and those might work for the 18 count instead. So I want to say thank you so very much for helping me out with that little problem. Okay, so previous finishes. Back, these probably would have been stitched actually in 2020, back early on at that point. And at that point, I still had this idea that I was going to fully finish everything, and things like mat boards or frames or whatever the case may be, but I never really thought about how and where it was going to be displayed at all. And if I had thought about it, I would have realized that there were not a lot of places. There were a few more potential places back in where we lived in Connecticut, although even there we did not have a ton of furniture. We kept it more sparse than full. But here there's even less and less places. So all of my things that'll be displayed will be confined to this room. But in the process, these two smalls did get fully finished. Well, except for the back. I didn't put any felt on the back. I had pretty much, the few things I did finish on mat boards and stuff, I didn't worry about mounting them on things. I was just leaning them up against a wall or whatever, and that's what I'll do in this case too. So if you see this pumpkin, it's a little tiny pumpkin. And I had these two right up here. So afterwards, after this video, they'll go back up there. I pulled them down though, because that could be a disaster if I tried to reach. And there's no way I can reach to put them back. So this first one was, it's a 14 count aida, very simple. It's a cute little pumpkin that was done from Whimsical. What's the book? I can't see it. It's a Whimsical Cross Stitch, I believe is what it's called. And it's just a book of small little whimsical pieces. So I thought that was cute. So I stitched that, and that's just an orange fabric. And then this one is from a Prairie Schooler set. I started stitching one of their, I think it's an autumn sort of town look, and I've stopped it, and I'm going to redo it, but I'm going to change up the colors, and I'm going to un-Prairie Schooler it and autumn town it instead. I love the colors of my autumn town piece from Autumn Lane Stitchery. So I'm going to take those colors and transfer them to that design. So this way they'll be a little bit more almost like companion pieces is that way too, because they'll have kind of the same color schemes. Totally different looks to them, but I thought it'd be cute. So I am going to restart that, but I wanted to finish Autumn Town before I ever started that other one. But this was one of the smaller pieces from that booklet. Now I did change the pumpkin color because Prairie Schooler has a tendency to do brown pumpkins. And like I said, when I showed this the first time around, it's an unfortunate placement for a brown pumpkin if you're gonna do that. So I have no idea what color I changed it to. There might even, you know what, there's a couple, I think there's, you know what I did? I think in one or two places, I either combined two strands of DMC, two different shades, or I have two different ones. I'm not 100% sure. And this is probably a vintage country mocha, if I had to guess, 18 count, and then just some fabric behind. So I very rarely have previous finishes to show you, but today I actually do. Let's see if I can put these up here for now, and then they'll go back up higher, so they won't be in the way at all. And next week you'll see them up there. Okay, scrapbook page. I have one scrapbook page to show you. I started working on another one, but I'm a bit stuck on that one, so I decided to take a break. But this one came quick when I realized what I wanted to do. This time I used a small scrapbook. This is a 6x8 scrapbook, and it is from scrapbook.com. They have a whole series of different sizes of scrapbooks. And then if I open it up, I'll take it out of the page protector to show you fully. But here it is. So we open up the book, and like some people had said, it's almost like you'll have a coffee table book of all your finishes, which I love that idea. And I'm so excited to start filling up these pages of the different books. So that's a 6x8 page protector. So let me take it out so I can show you the piece up close, and we can talk about it. All right, so here we go. Here's the piece. This is two different patterns. For those of you who were stitching in 2020, you might remember when we were all stuck at home, a whole group of designers put out free designs. It was called the Be Well and Stitch movement, I think, or there was a hashtag for Be Well and Stitch. I'm not 100% sure now. And so you had a whole bunch that you could stitch, and several designers put them out there. I'm sure if you just look and search, you'll find them still. I know this one is a Lizzie Kate. I don't remember this one. If you've not seen it before and you want me to try to figure out what it is, let me know, and I'll do a little searching and see if I can find it. Because I thought these two would be good on the same page because it was the same sort of stitch. They had the same sort of color schemes between fabric here with the stitching there. So I thought it would be fun to put them on the same page. And rather than doing them up and down, I just staggered them a little bit. And then I was like, what do I do then? And then I remembered that I had these stickers, and I'm going to show you the set in just a minute. It was a set of stickers. They're kind of watercolor-ish. They have that kind of vibe. And if you look and see, the colors of those flowers really are similar colors to all the flowers here. So I thought that would be perfect in order to just bring out those colors, while the matting here and the base brought out some of the other blues. If you're curious, this is a Stampin' Up. It's called Balmy Blue. This is Night of Navy, also Stampin' Up. And both pieces have interfacing on the back of them. A couple people asked me what interfacing I use. I am no expert. I fell upon this one. I like how it feels when I use it. So, and it's easy. It's Pellin 950F. It has shir dash something is what it's called also. I can't remember though, but I just now that I'm looking for it, because I had originally got it on Amazon, but it's very pricey there right now. So I just Googled Pellin 950F, and you can find it on Etsy. You can find it, I think, on Joann's and a few other places. So lots of different choices. I think even Walmart.com might have it, if I remember correctly. So that's what I use for interfacing. But yeah, so anyway, I found some flowers. I decided I really liked this in order to bracket the picture here. This one was a really nice one to take up the space. And then to complete the visual triangle, I just found a little guy, just because that space seemed a little bit empty up there. So that's what I ended up doing with that. So let me show you the set. I can't remember 100%. Let me see what the name of the company is that these came from. What I'll do is I'll look on Amazon and I will see. So I'll tell you what you can search for. So they had a whole set of these pink sort of ones. The one thing you have to be careful of is pulling them off, because they're very delicate, so they're easy to rip. So you just have to be careful. If you do rip it slightly, you can kind of knit it together, and when it's down on the piece, you got a pretty bird on this one. You can just fix it and straighten it out. Then we had some colors that were more yellowish. You can see I've used these. I've used these for my my journal, where I journal what I've stitched and anything else. So my stitching journal is more of a calendar, a planner, and then my stitching scrapbook is where I put my finished pieces. And then there is even some, look at the pretty blues there. And the other thing with these, if you are interested in them, is see how they're almost transparent? They don't have the white back. Sometimes I like the ones that are more white backed, and sometimes I like the transparent, but these were pretty for that. So I'll put that information in the description box if you're interested. But really, with a base piece of cardstock, a piece of cardstock to frame the pictures, which you don't really need if you don't want to, and then a couple stickers, I made a page and I finished these 2 pieces. There's nowhere I would have put them. I have no place to put pillows, even if I wanted to make a whole bunch of little pillows. And there's only so many things on mat boards I could do. So this way, these 2 are in a scrapbook. And then as I finish more and more, then I can have a little mini coffee table book of my scrapbook finishes. So that's that. That's the scrapbook page. Okay, let's talk about some stitching here. My very first one does not have a lot of progress on it. Plans didn't quite work out last Friday the way I thought they were going to, so I had a little bit of extra time to stitch, so I did pull this one out. But then it was in a different part of the house, so then it didn't really get much more than what I put in last Friday. So you won't see a ton, but this is Luminous Fiber Arts Raven's Reply. If you remember, probably a month or so ago, I stitched this pumpkin with a little bit of the twirlies with it for a trading card. But I like the pattern itself, so I decided to stitch it again. And here's what I have. So this is 18 Count Haunting by Fabrics by Stephanie. And not a lot of progress. I'm finding that I'm really slow going with the border, more so than I thought I would. So then what I was doing was then I was doing a strand of border, then I was coming over and doing something else and then going back. So I have a few little pieces done as well. Now, I like the look of the border. I'm not loving stitching it. So I'm thinking if I keep, so I have 2 choices. One, I can just end it here and not put Nevermore. But I kind of like the Nevermore part. But what I might do, instead of doing a scallop, I might just do a straight rectangle of orange and have the scallop be around the actual picture part, and then have it a bit more blocky where the words are. I've got a ways to go before I get to that, so I'm not worried yet about it, but I may change that up because there's a lot more scallop there. And again, I love the look of it, but I'm not loving the stitch of it. So I think if I changed it up, I think I'd like it a little bit more doing it. So that's the first one. Next, let me show you the set of 3. I had started this last week and I really enjoyed it, and I was so curious to see what the colors look like. So this is the set of 3. It's called Autumn Gnomes from Wonderland, Ukraine. And I am stitching, no, you don't want that. Let me do it this way. I started with this one with the brown hat. I really liked the flowers up here, and I do have a pumpkin with him as well. So we still have the season of autumn. I'm not stitching this rectangle around the back of him. I've just changed it and put it on a colored fabric instead. So that's you won't see that when I stitch it and finish it. Now I had started with the hat, and it's a big hat, and I really, really wanted to see what the flowered colors look like. So I did some of those. So look at this piece. These are big. They're a good size here. Let's bring it up. This is 18 Count Buttercream from To Die For Fabrics. In 18 count, it is, and I talked about this last week, it is so pretty. I am loving this one. In fact, I think I placed a smaller order here and with Stephanie for some fabric for my birthday. Stephanie, I only order almost like once a year, so I did a bigger order. It'll take a while to come. But I liked this one so much, I think I ordered a little bit more of this because I could see so many things looking good on this. But look at the flowers so far. Aren't they pretty? The colors are great. Oranges, reds, and I'll get some yellows, although you're only seeing a very small piece of yellow right now. What I love about these, with the first one that I'm doing, the sunflower gnome, summer gnome, one of the summer gnomes, is the layering of color, and it's all DMC, but they layer it so nicely that it gives it so much dimension. So I did continue more of this hat because, you know, I want to get progress, but I had to do some color here because I really wanted to see what it looked like. And I think I made a good choice on the fabric. I'm going to like it on this. So this one, you know, I picked it up again this week from last week because I really wanted to see what the flowers will look like. I am not necessarily one who is devoted to seasonal stitching one way or the other, that I can only do it in the season or have to do it before the season or anything along those lines. I just, when I enjoy something, I stitch it, you know, regardless of the season. Now, sometimes I am influenced a little bit more by that because I may, if in the spring, I might be loving the spring colors. But, so I have no plan for when or how this guy will get stitched. We'll just see him when we see him. And he's, you know, a bunch of different colors from my summer gnome that's going on right now. So that's nice too. Depending on what one I feel like, you may see those periodically. But the point is to say it may not be getting work every week. So we'll see. Okay. Next. This one is getting work every week though, because it is my 25/7 piece, which means for 25 minutes-ish a day, I stitch on it 7 days a week. And it is Autumn Towne from Autumn Lane Stitchery. And let me even make this bigger. I love, love, love the colors that they have chosen for this autumn piece. I love the brights and just fun colors. So those are the colors I want to change that Prairie Schooler to at some point or other. I just think the trees would be so much prettier. I mean, there is brown trees, but it's not all brown. And that's what the Prairie Schooler looks like. It's just more brown than anything else. So I wanted to brighten it up a bit. So that's what I'm working on. And that, you know, every week I mean to check and get the info. That is a group on Facebook, not started by me, but there are several people stitching. If you want to watch Rachel Q Stitches, she has got a wonderful piece that she is doing 25/7 with, and it's looking fabulous. I don't think Janet from Janet Jabber does that. She does a strand a day, and she does a daily stitch that way. And then I don't know how long she gives her queens, her Mirabilia queens. I don't remember what she said. She recently did say, I'm blanking out, but it's somewhere along those lines. It's not an official 25/7, but it is something similar to that. So you can see a few different places, and I'm trying to think, is there anybody off the top of my head? I know there are, I can't think at the moment. But here's where mine is. And that 25/7 is great. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll pick a Flosstube and I'll watch it, and okay, maybe it's 35 or 40 minutes. So it might get a few extra minutes just to work through the Flosstube. But I try to find something that is around that time period so that it gives me a starting and stopping point, because otherwise I could just keep going. So at a distance, this is where we are, and that's the bottom. So now you've got all the corners going. It's really this corner that I've got left. This is 18 count Fallen Leaf from To Die For Fabrics. And it is such a fun, lovely color. And if I fold it over, this is where I am. I finally finished that giant tree. I never thought, that took me like 2 weeks of 25/7 stitching. This thing is huge. Finally got it done. I also came over and I did this red one, which was nice because that's easy. There was no branches or anything. It was just straight stitching. And then I did this whole pumpkin. I figured, while I'm still in October for my pumpkin birthday, Sal, I better stitch a pumpkin. Started this one. This is only like a little half pumpkin. And then there's another one that's going to go right there. So that's what I'll probably continue, is down here, and then just keep working my way that way. But it's amazing. And I've heard other people say it too. You wouldn't think that much or little stitching each day could get you progress, but I think there was one day this week that I didn't get to it. So I got 6 days out of the 7 since last time you saw it that I did get my 25 in there. So this one you will keep seeing. I am putting it in my 25/7 until I get a finish on it. So we're in the home stretch. This one's going to be one you see every week. So I hope you like it. All right, next. Since we are getting towards November and for us Thanksgiving and a month of gratitude and such, I pulled out my Thanksgiving quote with sunflower. This is from Luba, Davies Atelier. I have no idea if that's how you actually say it. They're on Etsy. I link it down below, so you can just go right. I linked the store right below, not this specific design. I love the sentiment. I love the sunflower look of it, but I did change up the base, as if you've been around with me before, you know. And here it is. Look at that. I love that blue. That is 18 count Dive In from Bestitchme. And yeah, it's a bright blue. It is definitely a bright blue. So you might look at it and say, oh boy, because this was a fabric of the month. I was so excited when I saw it because I knew right away. But you might look at it and say, wow, it's a bit bright. But the brown and blue is always a great color combination. And then the yellows look so nice with both the browns and the blue that I'm loving it. It's a big piece for some of these sunflower pieces. I did a little bit of letter stitching, not word. I finished the N. I did the W and the D. I did some more, I think, here. And then I also started to fill in. I filled in another petal, I guess, of the sunflower, and then did some of the outline. So we're getting there. It's not a huge piece. It's 107 by 116. And obviously there's going to be a whole bunch of open space on this side because it's just going to be letters, which should go pretty quick. But loving it. I don't know if it'll be an every week stitch, but I do want to stitch it a couple times in November. I think it'll be nice to do that. So that's that one. All right, we're zipping along. I had 8 pieces I touched this week. And we are halfway through, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. All right, next is my full coverage. I had finished the rotation on Red Riding Hood. Oops, that's right, these are out of order because this one wouldn't load originally. And I decided I wanted to pick something that was much brighter. And I didn't realize this intentionally, but this is one of my smaller full coverages. And it was so nice because Red Riding Hood is huge and I have so much fabric that I'm holding and it's like draping down on me. This one is Mini Sunflower Cottage from Dona Gelsinger. Look at all those bright colors. It is so pretty. I am still way up at the top. And you're not going to see very much because it's white on white, but I did a lot of concentrating on that heart right there. But there's a lot of light pinks and whites there. I did go all the way across. So I have the whole top. In one case, it's only one line of stitches, but just enough so that I could see what I was doing and see full. So you can see this is not a huge, this is it, which relatively, in the scheme of things, especially against what I did last time around, that's where it is. And I did a bunch. You know what, let's fold it a little bit because I didn't do too much on this left side. I did mostly on the right side. I did a whole bunch over here. So I started to bring this down. You can see I still have an area that's a bit confetti heavy. So I'll pick a color and start working my way through there. But these were a little bit fuller. So I filled in that. And then I really decided I wanted to tackle this here. It's a lot of, I think, 819, which is a very pale pink, 3865. So right now it's a little blending in, but I do about 100 stitches a day on my full coverage piece. Not always if there's a lot of confetti. If there's a block, I mean, I can do that and potentially 3 strands, because if I can get 35 to 40 stitches out of a strand, if it's a big block of color, 3 strands and I've already got my 100. So that's where it is. I am actually really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the colors. I'm really enjoying the size. And I'll give it the 10 days. So I still have several days because I didn't do any full coverage last Friday, I think. So this one might have gotten started on Saturday. So I still have, you know, several days to go. But this one might see it might jump the line in rotation before some other pieces, just because I'm really enjoying stitching it and I like it. And given that it's a smaller piece, I feel like I have a better chance of making some really good progress on it and seeing progress. Red Riding Hood's gonna take me quite some time. All right, next. I can't stop stitching this one. I say I'm gonna give it a break every week, and then every week I pull it out anyway. It's Carolyns Balloons Autumn from Jan Hicks Creates. I just love it. I love the colors. I love the designs. The pattern is just lovely. It's just everything. I just love everything about it. So every week, even though I say I'm not going to, I pull it out anyway. And here it is. Oh, with the full coverage, it's 18 count still, white aida, as you could tell, but it's 2 strands, full cross over 1. I do the full crosses. I've never tried just the half. Okay, 18 count car wash from Fortnight Fabrics. And I did deliberately choose something as modeled as this. I've told this story before. Those balloons are floating up in the air, lots of puffy clouds. Now, originally I said, I completely contradicted myself from what I said I was going to do last week. I said last week I was going to come over here, come to the edge. There's, I have to look and see. Obviously, I'm going to have a little bit of space, but I'm looking at the picture thinking it might come farther than I realized. But I have 2/3 of a balloon, which will stop on the edge right there. So I said I was going to come across that way so I'd at least have the full top. Well, I did these two, and I had every intention, and then I was just drawn in by the colors of this balloon. I said, nope, I want to do that balloon instead. So there's 2 different shades there. This is a deeper red, and then that's more of a pinky sort of red. So all I have left here is the basket of the balloon. I'm sure it has an official name maybe, but I just have that left, and that balloon will be done. And then I also did this here. It's fun throwing in those little elements at times, because this was a lot of counting. I wasn't sure I'd get that all done this week, but I just buckled down one day and I did it. So there it is. So I don't know if this will get stitched next week. I can't guarantee one way or another. We'll have to see. Because like I said, every week I say, nope, I'm going to give it a break. And then every week I pull it out again. Now this one, until the end of the month, I'm making a push on this one. I'd really like to get it's not a finish of the piece, but it's a finish of part of the piece. And that is, let me show you the full pattern first. It's from Hemlock and Rye Stitchery, and it's, let me make it a little bit bigger with the 3 houses, Samhain or Halloween, whichever one you want, in Salem. And I have started with the yellow house, and my mini goal for the month of October is to try to get that finished. And when I started working on it this week, I said, oh, I don't know if I can do it. But I did some work on it yesterday, and all I have left now is along these lines right here. So if I give it some time this weekend, I might. I'm not going to promise, because it's gonna be put away at the end of October for a little while. So I really would like to at least get one house finished. I think I started this last year, so I'd like to see a little bit of more progress. So there it is. Doesn't it look great? This is an 18 count. It's called Old Library Marble. You can see all the different kind of veins in it. It's from Dove Stitch. It's a printed fabric. And I just like the look of it for kind of a Salem sort of piece. Now, I am not going to put the words, I'm just going to do fence all the way across. So technically it's not gonna say Salem, but you know, that's the general idea. So I did a lot this week. I finished so the color of the house is all done, because right now all we have left, oh, actually there's just a little strip on this side, but mostly it's all done. We have all of the door, I have a step, I have a wreath, and I have another pumpkin. Now the wreath is charted in all French knots. Now, if you're new, you won't remember my French knot saga. I don't care what anybody says. French knots are not easy for everyone. I'm just throwing that out there. If they're easy for you, That is fabulous. That is great. I started stitching years and years and years ago. Couldn't do them then, can't do them now. I have watched countless videos. I've watched the colonial knot videos. I stitch lefty, so that makes everything thrown up in a tizzy a little bit. We've all decided I need somebody to literally sit right next to me and guide my hand with the needle to teach me how to do French knots. There's just no way over the internet I'm going to be able to do it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the colors that Julie has it stitched in with the French knots, and I'm just going to make X's. I mean, that's what the flowers here, and they look cute because you're looking at it from a distance. So I'm not feeling a loss of any kind that those aren't going to be French knots. They're going to be X's, and they're going to be super cute, and I'm going to like it. Because I was looking at the pattern, I said, what is that symbol? And then I did a little digging, and I was like, oh, that's what it is. Yeah, not happening. Even Mo, if you're new, even my husband Mo, he said, I'm going to try to see if I can figure them out for you. I think he tried colonials, not French knots. And even he was stumped, and he's got a better kind of visual. Like, I don't have a really good visual, like kind of see and just transport sort of thing look to it. So I am not, oh, here come the jets. I just can't do it, but that's what it'll be. Sorry, I'm distracted. They're always kind of, there's one, they usually come in pairs. I don't know where the other one is. So there we go. I think I might, we'll see. I don't know what the weekend's plans are. I'm not sure what we're doing. I have no idea. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like. So that could also dictate it. I don't even know what day it is half the time. Thank goodness I tape on the same day every week. Otherwise I wouldn't know what day it is half the time. So maybe, we'll see. I have until Monday. Maybe I'll stitch on it on Monday for, Salem, Halloween, that kind of thing. So we'll see. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens next week, whether or not I get a finish of the yellow house. I will be super excited if I do. I feel like I'll have made really good progress this season on that one, if I can see that kind of finish. All right, and my last piece. Oh, before I show you that, I did do a finish. You know what? I'll do the finish afterwards. Let's get the pieces, these in progress pieces done. This is Midnight Watch from Blackbird. Sarah's Stitches and I, she's linked down below. We are doing a hashtag, a stitch along together on this one. It's hashtag bbdmidnightwatchsal. Sarah and I are stitching just the cat, house, that kind of stuff. We're not doing the border or the alphabet. I recently this week saw somebody stitching the whole thing on Instagram, and it looked gorgeous. Loved it. So if you are stitching this, tag on that hashtag so Sarah and I can see what you're doing. Okay, so this is what it looks like as charted. Now you'll see mine. The moon is done. That was my goal to get for this season's worth of stitching, because like the Salem piece, I probably will put this one away for a little while. Now this one will, because it's a stitch along, I think I will pick it up, at least once a month if I can, just to get some progress. The moon, I think, is one of the biggest parts to do. I mean, the house is not small. It's not like it's nothing. It's a good size, but I feel like because there's a bunch of different parts of it, it might zip along a little bit more. This is 18 count, where am I? Bewitched from To Die For Fabrics. Isn't it a beautiful purple? I thought the colors, especially the moon, would pop off of that. Now I did have to change, and in the description box, I do mention I had to change one of the called for greens because it blended in too much. So I changed it to a lighter green, and I think I like that better. And that'll be all the way down, so I think you'll notice it a lot more once it comes in. And the house kind of blends in here, but I think it's going to pop some more when it's on this color. So I'm excited to give that a try. But the moon, that was my goal, was to get the cat and the moon done. I mean, you could just do, and you could have done it. If you didn't want that to do the house, I would have just done all of that. You could have actually just finished off the moon if you wanted to, or you could have kept it flat. Wouldn't that be cute? Just doing this part of a stitch and making it into an ornament or something. That'd be adorable. Like I said, you could have rounded off the moon because it's easy enough to figure out, or you could have left it flat and then all of these pieces just done the yellow. So much you can do with these. I enjoyed this. I really did. I had a lot of fun. That moon is 2 different strands, 2 different colors of DMC mixed together, blended together. So yeah, so I think you won't see this one now for a few weeks. I think we're going to give that one a little bit of a break. Okay, and I had one finish here. Okay, all of the stuff is starting to not be all over the table anymore. I have one little finish, and it was a trading card. You had seen me, I had finished the stitching last week. It was the mini owl from Waxing Moon. I didn't bring up the original. I did change it. Let me show you. I just stitched, of the pieces, I stitched the owl and I stitched the pumpkins. There is a border around it. There are leaves, there's grass, there's a bunch of other things, but that's all I stitched because I knew I wanted to finish it with some other extra stuff. So the leaves, now when I did my fox, which is too far away, I should have pulled it because then I could have showed you the 2 different sizes of brads. These are leaf brads and they're the larger size. I used the smaller size leaves for the fox. I think it was the other direction. I think it looked better. And then I was going to stitch the grass. And then I said, you know what? Why not make my own grass? So that's probably garden green from Stampin' Up, if I had to guess. And what I love to do, whether it's water or grass or something, is I take a strip, I cut it, and then you rip, and you just rip in like a, a design. There's no pattern to it. I just hand rip it. And one side will show like the inside. This happens to be the same color through and through. Sometimes cardstock is white on the inside. But this one, so if you look at it in person, it almost gives it a little bit of texture as well. So I decided that I wanted to put that at the bottom, and I had to be a little strategic to keep it within the size of how I cut my my piece out. But I really like how it came out with the cardstock. And then I just backed it. I have to put my name and all the info on the back, but it's just backed on, I think I used a brown. You could use any color though. Especially because if you put the interfacing, which I did, behind my stitched piece, then you're not even going to see anything through. So, even with the Aida. I don't know if it would be bigger, but this is 18 count. This is a vintage country mocha. But that's what it looks like. Yay! So I have another one finished. And that will go in my pile of 2 trade pieces. And that's it. That was the stitching this week. I was working on a finishing, and I want to show you this pile. This is the pile. So this right here, this is my Halloween calendar. I know, all of those weeks stitching, and that's what it comes down to. These are going to be small, super small. And I've started getting them ready to go. Look how small they're going to be. How cute is that? So I spent the week interfacing all of them. So they all have interfacing on the back. And then I decided on a size. And what I'm doing is I am not wrapping them, as you can tell. I'm not wrapping them around board. I'm going to just attach them like I would my trading card. And then I will put a backing probably though on the back. Like I'll put a little bit of felt. So this way I can put my ribbon or whatever I want to put as a hanger, and then I'll put a little bit of felt on the back, and the back will be a little bit more finished looking as well. So I interfaced them all. There's 31 days. That took forever to cut out all those little pieces of interface, do all of the ironing, and then decide on the size. And partially part of it comes because a few of them got stitched really, really close together. And so they're going to be a little bit dicey. There's one that I cut, I think that, I don't know if it's here or not. Maybe I didn't cut it yet. That is really going to be dicey. It's not going to be center, I think, in the end. And then what I'm doing is I put a little outline of what the size is. Then I have to cut all these down. I haven't outlined all of them yet. So this is a project. I thought maybe I could get it done by Halloween, but I don't think so. It's going a little bit slower than I thought. I did order some ribbon that I thought might be cute as a hanger holder. I could probably also use baker's twine because obviously these are so small. You want something that's small. I ordered some, I want to say 1/8 of an inch ribbon. So we'll see when it comes in what it looks like. I think it's coming today, maybe. So we'll see. So this was a big chunk of time this week too, and it will continue. I'll keep plugging away at it even if when Halloween is over, and if and when it gets done, I'll show you the full project. I won't wait till next Halloween. I'll probably show it to you before then. So yeah, so that's it. That was some of my time this week too. So it was finishing-ish of my stitching, and like I said, it's a combo. I was originally going to fold them all over, but then some of them just wouldn't fit. And I said, well, why can't I do it like my trading card? So that's what I'm going to do. Alrighty. Plans. Well, plans this week, obviously my 25/7 piece and probably some of the Salem piece before Monday is over. And then I am my full coverage. Those are the 3 that I know for sure. And then I pulled out for looking at long term, and I'm looking at November. And I said, oh, are there any that I thought would be fun for November that are November-ish, specifically that month? And so I pulled out these 2. This first one is it's from Cottage Garden Samplings. It's Turkey Day. It was part of A Time for All Seasons series. I think that was last year's series, of which I've stitched none of them. I don't think I have all 12, but I have several of them. What I need to do is go back and see what I have. I don't necessarily need to stitch all 12. I mean, some of them may be displayed, some of them may be scrapbooked. I have no idea. So I don't know if I need to buy all of them. I do know I do have the bee, and the bee is going to be stitched next February for Carla's Be My Own Valentine Stitch Along. So that's already set. I already know what I'm stitching next February. But I thought this would be cute, and I thought this might be fun on, and I don't have all the flosses yet. I have to pull all of them. That Buttercream that I did the November Gnome on, I thought that might look good on this. I have to do a floss toss, but I think the colors in here would look good there. There's a little bit of white up at the top, but I think I might be able to get away with it. So I'll do a floss toss, and I have an idea with that. This one, I have no idea what color I would use. I need all the flosses, and oh, it's Cottage Garden as well. I do like Cottage Garden. This was a monthly series, but what I love about it is it doesn't actually say the month. So there's January through December, and it was part of the garden journal. I have all 12 of these, so I don't necessarily need to stitch them one a month or whatever, or in order or anything. But I pulled this one out, and this is November. So they all have flowers on them. They have something towards the month, and then they have some sort of saying. So this one is a harvest to share, a home filled with love. All that I need is sent from above. And nowhere on it does it say November. Because while I don't mind stitching a couple that say the month, I don't need 20 pieces that say the month, either on my walls or in my scrapbook. So what I thought these were so pretty, and they really are. If you've not seen them, Cottage Garden, and I think I might have, and I don't remember, there's 1 or 2 months that I think I have bought extra of that I want to share with you at some point, probably closer to whatever month I have. But they're very, very pretty. And if you want something that is monthly without screaming the month and saying it in words, this might be an option for you. But I just don't know what fabric I'd do on this one. I'm not sure. You know, because it's something like floral, my first way to lean would be either a very light green, because, you know, I always think of green with the nature pieces, or some sort of blue. Again, I think if I do some sort of color, I think it would be very pale, just nice, a gentle color, a gentle form of that color, I think. But I just don't know on this one yet. A lot of time I'll see a pattern and right away a color will come to my head. This one does not. This one most definitely will need me to do a little bit of floss tossing. So we'll see. So yeah. So those are two possible starts you might see. You might see none, you might see something else. I don't know. I want to stitch some more trading cards. I'm just right now, for a while I had some ideas, and there's a ton that I could do for like fall, but how many pumpkin pieces do I need? Because we're going to start going against the fall. So I need to look at my patterns and see if there's something that jumps out at me for some of those. I don't have a plan for my next trading card. So we'll see. We'll see. If you know of any like little things that you think would be cute, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, so I have 2 pieces of Happy Mail that I wanted to share with you. This first one here, oh, you know what? I'm going to leave it in the plastic. Hopefully it won't be too, the sun is kind of, the way the light is right now, it might be all right. It might not bounce off. I got this beautiful card from Karen, and she had said that in watching, she noticed that I had the samplers and tree, the 12 Days of Christmas, as I've been going along with them from Liz Matthews, and she had accidentally bought 2 of 7. Did I have it yet? And I did not actually have. You know what? The color in this is so pretty. I want to try to open this. Sorry for that little bit of noise. I had not gotten this one yet. And so she very generously sent it to me and shared it with me. So now I have day 7. So I have all of them. This was the only day I was missing. Isn't that beautiful? The colors in this, I don't even think it's doing it justice. In person, those blues, I can't even tell you how beautiful they are. I can't wait to stitch this one. It is so, so pretty. I am going to stitch all of them as the sampler, not the tree. I think they're going to be so pretty. And I think my goal is to find different shades and various shades of green. As long as, this one might be tough because a couple of sometimes she has them stitched on different colors of fabric, and then she gives you an alternative for that color floss that might fade in. But these 2 are both on light. There's some trees here that are very light green. So I'd have to think about that. I mean, this also has heavy blue tones, so I don't know. We'll see. But it's gorgeous. It's one of my favorite colors. I said that about 6 too, I think. Every time she keeps coming out with these, they're just beautiful. So Karen, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I am looking forward to this series. I think it's gonna be so much fun to stitch. Is anybody else stitching it, planning on stitching it? I'd love to know what your plans are with them. And are you going to do the trees, or are you going to do the samplers, or a combo, or what are your thoughts? Okay, so I got that. And then I got a trading card. I got this wonderful trading card from Christy. Isn't that beautiful card that she sent? That's the card she sent, not the card she made. And she said she was going to give a trading card a try. And look at this. Look at how adorable this is. I love everything about this, Christy. It is wonderful. First off, the stitching is adorable. And it's a pumpkin. How perfect that I still got this in October during my pumpkin birthday stitch along. So thank you so much. And then what's really cool about this is the pattern itself has natural borders. So you've got the checkerboard, but then you have the stitched green, and you have the stitched orange. And then what she did was she did 1 row of the fabric. So that's a natural border. And then the color that she used as her base is a nice deep green, like a hunter green almost. And look at how lovely it plays off of all the colors, but especially that lighter green. It is just perfect. You picked the perfect base color. But how cool was this? So the pattern itself gave you pretty much everything you needed border-wise, and then a little bit of rickrack on the side, and boom. So I know some of you really would like to try the trading cards, but you're a little worried about how to finish them. First off, if you have any questions about how to do any of that, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. But secondly, you can do it, especially if you fully finish your cross stitch on mat boards, or you do matting with your framing, and you already know how to do this stuff. It's just in a different format. And I would be happy to help you if you think you want to give it a try. I absolutely love this. This is so much fun. Thank you so much. So that goes to my pile of trading cards. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, that's my happy mail. Shopping, I have fabric coming. I know my fabric of the month from Bestitchme. I got a notice yesterday or the day before that it had shipped. So hopefully sometime next week I'll get that in for the October color. And then I ordered some fabric for my birthday, but like I said, Stephanie it'll be a while before I get hers. And then Kimberly from To Die For, she's faster. So we'll see. If you are looking to get fabric from Kimberly from To Die For Fabrics, she's leaving her shop open for custom colors until November 15th. And then all that she will do from the November 15th to the end of the year is ready to ship. And she'll add ready to ship pieces. So you have to keep checking over that next 6-week period so that she can get everything out of people that have ordered things and they get them in a timely fashion, especially if they're looking for stuff for New Year, new starts and things like that. So you have another couple weeks if you want to order any custom colors, but then keep watching for ready to ship items as well, because that will be potentially an option in going forward. And if you're not following her Facebook group, she always updates that with like her fabrics of the weeks or her shipping plans, reminders and things like that. So you might want to join that if you use her fabrics. But I just don't want you to be disappointed December 1st deciding, okay, I want to get this color for my New Year, new start. And you might not be able to do that because December 1st, normally she's quick. Usually her fabrics come in 2 to 3 weeks. So she's one of the quicker hand dyers that you can use with that. So I have stuff coming that's stitching related. I did get, and I'm not going to show you, I did get some page protectors from scrapbook.com for my 8.5 by 11, and I'll just put those in my 9 by 12 book. I picked up some washi tape. We have Echo Park, Cartabella, and Doodlebug. So aren't those all fun, different colors and things like that? Washi tape can be used as a border for trading cards. It can be used for scrapbook pages. It could be used for any type of finish that you want. If you want to decorate your planner for the year, these are so much fun. And then this washi tape I picked up, I didn't take it out of the container, but it is part of Simple Stories, Vintage Seas. So there's different sizes and different designs, all nautical related. And I did pick up some pattern paper. I'm going to show you one that I absolutely adore, and then the others, I'm not going to show you all of them. This is from Reminisce, and it's a double-sided cardstock. And I want to show you, because if you're intimidated, for example, with stitching scrapbooks, and you're like, well, I can do the stitching, and okay, I can finish it with the interfacing, but then how do I do the page? There are patterned papers that you could, if this matched the design and aesthetic of your piece, you could put your piece right there, and your page is done. Now you have this gorgeous side, and then look at this gorgeous side. So you could put a piece right here that is along those same lines, and your scrapbook page is done. It doesn't have to be fancy. What's this one called? It's called Apple Blossoms, which is appropriate. I saw this and I said, I have to get this. I usually buy 2 pieces of something in case I want to do, you know, a double spread of something or other. But even if you were making it smaller, you could cut this in half. This is a 12 by 12. So, you know, 6 inches, and then you've got 2 different sides. So I did want to show you that because I thought that was a lot of fun. All right, giveaways. What did I do with my, oh, here it is. Now that I'm sitting, I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, that's going to be coming up. All right, so this week's giveaway. Yeah, I know, that's it for shopping, huh? I still didn't sit down and count this. The holes are small. Let's just put it that way. Now, it could be a 28 count for all I know, because that even looks small to me. I'm not sure. But this is the piece of fabric that is still not ironed, but it'll look a little bit less wrinkly. Well, hopefully I can get some of those wrinkles out for you when I send it out to whoever wins. And I asked you to use the word small, since the holes were too small for my eyes to do a count, and to tell you exactly what count. And let me mix these around so we give everybody a fair shot. And the winner is, oop, there's a whole bunch stuck together. Hold on. There we go. Anne Musso. I'm sorry, Anne, if I'm saying that wrong. But congratulations, you won the fabric. So Anne, if you could get back to me with your address, I will ship this out to you. I am a couple weeks, my shipping scale died. I send everything as a package, so I weigh everything before it goes out, so that it's weighed and properly, the right amount of postage is put on it. And my scale just died, just up and died. I'd had it for over 10 years and I didn't pay much for it. It was probably 20 bucks at most. And back, it used to get a ton of use when my Etsy store was open. So it lasted a decent amount of time. But I went to go weigh. I have 2 things that are getting ready to ship, and I have a trading card that, Christy, I owe you a trading card that will need to ship, but I need to wait for I think my scale is coming in this weekend. So once the scale comes in, I can get things weighed and I can ship them out. So Anne, whenever you get a chance, if you could get back to me with your address. Congratulations. All right, so I'm going to put that in here. And then this week, let me put this right back behind me. I went through, I like to pass the stash. There are some pieces that I stitched that I might stitch pieces of it, or maybe I'd stitch it again, especially if I'm doing smalls. But I did this one and it was cute to stitch, but I just don't ever see myself stitching it again. So I'd like to share it and pass it on. It's a pass the stash because I have used it, and it is We Santa 2020 from Heart and Hand. Now, I did not use, if you can see close up, there are some star charms, and I think there's 3, and they're all in here. I don't want to show you because on the other side is the, let's see. The charms are all in there. So everything, it is full. I did not use them, so you will get the charms that go with these if you win. And he's holding a giant candy cane, so the word candy. Anywhere in your comment, if you use the word candy, I will put your name into the bowl for We Santa 2020 from Heart and Hand, and it is the full piece with the charms. So that's it. That's the giveaway for this week. All right, if you are just here for stitching, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. If you are here for life stuff, I don't have a lot. Oh, my arm's itching all of a sudden. My arm's better. Thank you so much for all your well wishes with the booster. It's fine. It took almost a week for the full rash to go away. And it's funny, it itches once in a while now. It's probably just dry. But it's fine. I never felt anything else with it after I talked to you last week. It just took a little bit for it to fade. Last week I had all these great plans for my birthday, and we were able to do some of them, but unfortunately Mo ended up getting a huge big case at work that he needed to put in more time than he had thought, so he was not able to take a half day on Friday. And he said to me, he's like, we could try to go to lunch, but at any time I might be getting a phone call and I'll be looking, and it wouldn't be fair to you because I'm not giving you my attention. So he nixed the whole half day idea, which meant Friday afternoon I had a little bit more time stitching. But I was disappointed. So he was able to kind of wrap things up, and so he dragged me out and we went there for dinner instead. So that was nice. And then Saturday, we did get out Saturday afternoon, and it was a beautiful, beautiful day. Sunday was my actual birthday and the weather was crummy. So we knew we wanted to get out Saturday, and we did get out. We had a really lovely meal. They had Clemson on in the background at the bar, and Clemson won, which was good. So we saw a little bit of that while we were there. And then we went to the beach and to the boardwalk, and we had a nice little walk. I think we even grabbed some ice cream. There's one of the ice cream places. It has like a million flavors, but they had like 5 or 6 vegan options, which I was quite impressed with. And it's funny because I said that to her, and she's like, I'm impressed too. I'm surprised they have so many. So I was able to get some vegan ice cream. So that was really nice. That was my dessert. Rather than buying a cake and things or making whatever, I just got some ice cream, and it was nice. And then Sunday for my birthday, it was cloudy, it was rainy, it was yucky, and he had several calls. This thing didn't care about weekends, and so he unfortunately had to spend quite a bit of the day working. So I just spent the time stitching. I didn't get as much stitching over the weekend as I thought I might, because it was 24 hours of cross stitch. My goal was to try to get maybe 12 hours. I don't think I did it. I don't keep track of the hours. I kind of just have a general idea. I keep track of stitches, as I like to see what kind of progress I've done. And especially some pieces I stitch, like for my full coverage, I do 100 and around 100. If it's going really well, maybe 150 a day, but that's it. So I keep track of that, but I don't really keep track of time. I know I didn't come anywhere near 24. Whether or not I came near 12, I'm not sure. That's all right. And then it was just dreary, 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 dreary all week, all week. Yesterday, the sun started to peek out. The wind did pick up though. So it was funny because in the afternoon, the screen porch was sunny. I was like, oh, I'm gonna sit outside. I'm gonna read a book. I got maybe 15 minutes. And then I said, I'm cold. I could have grabbed a blanket, but I was too lazy. I just said, I'm going in, even though the sun looks nice. It's one of those, it looks nice outside, but you better be dressed properly kind of days, because otherwise you're just gonna sit there and freeze. Today it is beautiful and sunny and definitely breezy again. I can hear the wind right here. The leaves have changed, or I'm looking at them, but quite a few of the trees now have lost or are losing there's a few, I don't know what type of trees those are that are still green, and then a whole bunch that are bright yellow. But I'm not good with trees. So, and we don't have any directly right for our yard. So the leaves that fall kind of fall in like a little woodsy area back there, which is good because then they don't clog up all the drains and stuff, which is also good, especially with all the rain we'd had recently. So anyway, yeah, it was a quieter week. I did enjoy my birthday. Like I said, thank you for those well wishes. Maybe not quite as adventurous as I thought it would be. And, but you know, sometimes these things happen, you know, I mean, he can't control sometimes what comes in at work. And then other times he has way more time that we can do things. So we just kind of roll with it. And if he has a little bit of extra time, great. If he doesn't, then I think I was able to steal him away. Was it Wednesday afternoon? I think it was Wednesday afternoon. And it was funny. The sun wanted to come out, but it was cloudy and it was a little misty. I said, I want to take a walk at the boardwalk because I want to get some fresh air. So I dragged him out for, you know, half an hour or whatever. And we did that. So that was good. Because sometimes just what you need is just some fresh air. And like I said, the sun tried to come out valiantly, but it just wasn't doing it. But now a little bit nice. I don't know what's happening for the weekend though. So we'll see. I don't know. It's just all up in the air. I hope you have some good plans. I know they're doing some sort of, we live in a community, and I think instead of doing trick-or-treating, we don't have a ton of kids in the neighborhood. We have some. I think they're doing some sort of, is it called trunk or treat? It's something new to me. I'd never heard of it before because my kids always, you know, ran around the neighborhood and did all that. So it's something different than what your regular Halloween, and it might be over the weekend instead of Monday night. I'm not sure. You can see I've really read all the notes on the message board really well. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. The way we looked at it is, before we even knew that, we already bought our candy. None of which, I mean, I could buy certain candies, like something that doesn't have dairy or egg or anything like that, but I don't even bother. We buy what Mo likes. I have absolutely no temptation to eat it because I know I can't eat it. And then whatever gets given out to kids, usually in years past, that's what gives out. And then Mo, he likes to have like a piece with his coffee sometimes. And then he eats whatever's left. Well, he might get all of it this year because, like I said, unless we get down to wherever we're supposed to go for this trunk or treat, I don't know, we might have no kids, which means all of the candy. It'll still be here when people come home from Thanksgiving, I guess. That's the way I look at it. So, but the good part is I won't eat any of it. So that's good. So I have very up in the air plans this weekend. And otherwise, like I said, I have a few ideas for stitching. Thank you for like I said, was it last week too? Thank you so much for those of you who did give me frame idea, like the custom frame ideas. I wrote down some names of places. I did a bit of measuring. There's Lady Halloween and Shamrock that I definitely want to do as a frame. And then Mary Poppins might be the third one. Another one that I wanted to do as a frame. So I might try Shamrock first or one of the others first if I want to see what it's like beforehand. Yeah, I'm just reading the directions because there's certain ways you have to measure and make sure you do all that right. So thank you for that. I do want to kind of look into that this week. I want to work on my Halloween tree. do some stitching, maybe do some scrapbooking and all that good stuff. So hopefully maybe you'll see a little bit of something, a whole bunch of things next week or next video, whenever. I usually say next week, but you never know. Sometimes if I had to travel or if I had to do something, things might change around. But as far as I know, we'll be here next Friday. All right, that's it. Now I'm rambling. As always, I hope you are happy, I hope you are healthy, I hope you are safe, and I hope your life is filled with ease. And until next time, happy stitching, my friends.